Becoming wealthy, achieving financial success, and living life on your terms are all things that many of you want for yourselves when you think about your future. The reality is, many will never actually realize those dreams, not because they can't. Anyone with the right mindset and actions can make it happen, but because people behave in ways that don't promote their financial success, often without even realizing that they are sabotaging their financial futures, ensuring that they stay broke. Many people have a decent job, a nice place to live, a car payment, and maybe a couple of credit cards. While on the surface they may appear to have it all together, according to a Lending Club survey done in May 2022, around 64% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. This means they're unprepared for any kind of financial emergency and possibly living beyond their means. In this video, we'll give 5 reasons you may be broke, and as you watch till the end, you'll find solutions that can help turn your financial life around. But before we get to that though, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification button now. Let's get into it. No clear financial goals. When you don't set goals for your life becomes like a boat adrift at sea, subject to the whims of the ocean's waves, and you don't get to say where you're headed. You might get lucky, but you don't want to leave your finances to luck, or you might find yourself sinking. Again, without clear goals, you don't have a focus, nothing to give you a target to hit, so you go by the flow. You don't have any priorities. You do whatever you feel like doing day to day. It won't be long before distractions creep in because your mind is open to everything that is out there, and then you begin to live randomly without plans and a destination. Just imagine you grab a cab and tell the driver you don't know your destination. Where will he drive you to? This is what you're doing with your life when you don't set clear goals. You're giving someone else the power to determine your destination, to determine where and how you spend your money. Do you really want to leave your life to chance? Taking the time to figure out what you want to do with your money can help you determine where and how you want to spend. In the end, this can help you save, invest, and having money for emergencies instead of the fear and dilemma of always being broke. You're not prepared for emergencies. Think about how strenuous the world of finance is if you're not prepared for emergencies. Considering that 64% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, a lot of us are experiencing that world right now. When you don't have money set aside for emergencies, you are most likely going to experience financial strain following a sudden job loss or even business downtime or when life hits on the bad side. Without a safety net, you're left scrambling to cover the cost of life's unpredicted turnouts. This then brings added financial stress to an already bad situation. So you resolve to borrow, but unfortunately, you can't find yourself any decent lender. In a desperate situation, you're forced to secure a very high interest loan, which could further dig you into debt. Soon enough, you're deep into debt and broke. Maybe this isn't you, but this is a typical instance of someone who is not prepared for emergencies. At the end of the day, you're just sitting on the edge of your financial route. Whether you have to take up a second job or start some side hustles, find a way to increase your income, decrease your expenses, or do a combination of both to help yourself save for emergencies. A little goes a long way. You don't try to increase your income. We've been generally programmed to believe a conventional finance route of pick a job, advance in that job, draw a higher and higher salary, and eventually retire, hopefully with a pension or retirement account. Sadly, a lot of people rely on only one source of income. Unfortunately, that path is flawed because most jobs don't give considerable enough raises year over year, and most people don't save nearly enough in their retirement accounts. So if you follow it completely, it could set you up for hard financial times, longer stretches of work before retirement, and in some cases, being financially broke. Yes, some of the richest people in the world right now, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Mark Zuckerberg, started with one stream or source of income, but unlike you, they've grown their businesses to meet varying needs over the years. It would interest you to know that each of these people now has at least 7 sources of income. The biggest factor preventing you from adding extra streams of income to your life is the misconception that to earn an extra line of income, you have to dedicate time and energy as much as you do to your full-time job. That is simply not true. You can earn other income while you still keep your 9-to-5 job. All you need is more flexibility and strategy. You don't know your cash flow, no idea of income or expenses. Just as important as making more money is the ability to track and know your income and expenses. In other words, the amount of money that goes out of your pocket, like paying monthly bills, shopping for food, and transportation needs, and the amount that comes into your pocket, monthly salary, passive income, such as renting out your house, and income from side hustles like driving for Uber or dog walking. When you do not monitor your income and expenditures regularly, you create chances for misinterpreting your financial progress, which could give you an idea that you're rich, but a crucial check could prove that you're really broke. Even if you make good money, you can be broke if cash flow is not managed properly. Not everyone is into budgeting, but at the very least, you need to understand where you're spending your money. Without having this knowledge, you run the risk of being broke because you're not aware that your life is costing you just as much as you're making. No future thinking. Once more, without having an understanding of cash flow, you get caught up in the good life and spending money in the present. You live beyond your means, spending every cent you earn, and more without regard to your future. This you only live once or YOLO approach to life could be appealing in this generation of instant gratification, but the future costs are much higher. You need to know that our attitude to spending is the biggest difference between getting ahead, breaking even, and going backwards. YOLO living encourages impulsive and reckless spending. The kind of spending you make when you want to make the most of the moment without you considering the future. Unfortunately, this mentality is sweeping so many of you away with the desire to behave in a way that is unreasonable and unacceptable. One of the major dangers of not thinking about the future is that you justify purchases you cannot afford, which means you incur debt to pay for whatever you want at the moment. Also, you tend to overlook the importance of budgeting and saving, which requires serious thought and effort. So you pay for purchases with the money you have not earned, which makes you indebted as much as being broke. We're not saying you can't enjoy life, but take a moment to consider what you want out of life, your money, and your future. Now that you know some of the reasons that could be keeping you broke, you can fix these habits to get back to your financial goals. Thanks so much for watching. If you learned something new today, like this video and share it with your friends. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and click on that bell icon to keep getting notified of more money-related content. We'll see you in the next one.